code, now you have to import a module called as HTTP client module. Okay. See here, it is there now. HTTP client module. This is the module that helps you to communicate between your backend server and front end server. Got it? So after importing this module in your module.ts file, what you do, you have to create a folder called services. Like earlier, you have created a folder called components, right? Where you store all your components. So next, create a folder called services. Okay, inside app only, outside components. Don't create it inside components folder. See like this: inside app, outside components. You have to create one folder called folder. Inside service folder, create two folders. Other two folders called as HTTP service and user service. Okay. Node service. Don't worry about that thing as of now. Later on, you will implement it. Okay. After creating two services, one is HTTP service and another one is user service, right click on HTTP service, open in integrated terminal. See, now you are in HTTP service folder, right? You have to create a service. How to create a service? What is the command to create a component? Yeah. Now to create a service, command is nggs. S stands for service. Okay. And the service name. So inside HTTP service, you will create HTTP service only. Okay. So if you give HTTP service, it will append by itself. So I have already created a service. So I am not going to create it. So this is the file that you will get. These two files you will get inside this. Got it? Then open an integrated terminal on user service. Then create service inside user service folder. Okay. So you will get two files. Clear till here? Any confusion? Okay. So as of now, until you are going doing testing part, you should not touch this spec.ts file. Got it right? Okay. So now go in HTTP service. Can you list out common CRUD operations that we will be performing? You know, right? What are CRUD operations? Yeah. So create is nothing but post, right? Okay. Post, get, put, and delete. Update is put. Okay. Create is post. So those are the four CRUD operations that we will be performing repeatedly. Okay, so in order to do that, now we will create some functions which are common to all post methods. Okay, let me open one Swagger and show you. Okay, I will show you some other Swagger, okay? Not the Fundu one. Just for reference, I will show you. See here, na? See, in this Swagger, you can see post, post, post. Everything is post, put, get. These are repeated, right? You can see everywhere it is like repeating. So what you will do, you will make that functionality, whatever functionality we are having for post CRUD operation common. Okay, then for put CRUD operation, one common method, get one common method, and delete one common method. So those common methods now you will be having in your HTTP service folder. Okay. So HTTP, inside HTTP service, what you will have, you have four methods: post service, put service, get service, and delete service. And the CRUD operations you have, na, post, put, get, delete, and all. These CRUD operations are part of a class called HTTP client class, which belongs to HTTP client module. Clear? So you have imported HTTP client module. Now in HTTP client module, you have a class called HTTP client. Inside this class only, you will be having the CRUD operations. Okay, let me show you this dot http. Okay, let me explain you some dependency injection thing that we are doing here. See, now what happens, you want the CRUD operations now which are there in HTTP client class. So in order to get them, what you have to do, inside the constructor you have to do dependency injection. So you will import the class and create an object of that. Okay, this is how you create an object of that particular class. Will make it private, means that is only restricted to this particular file, right? So you will give a name called HTTP client. You can give it HTTP client, anything. You can give your name also. And to that, name you will be assigning the client. See, I will show you how it will get added. So I want HTTP client class now. HTTP client. And you see now it got imported. This is what dependency injection. Instead of creating everything on my own, I'm taking from some other source, right? Okay, so now I have to refer this particular class with this name, whichever I have assigned, right? Dot. Can you see these are the methods which are there inside this particular class? Okay, you can see delete, get, head, JSON, P, options, patch, post, put, request, right? So for my put service, which is the CRUD operation I will require, put. Got it? So for my post one, I wanted this one, right? For my post CRUD operation, I wanted post method, right? Yeah. So inside this post service method, now just consider inside this post service method, you are making this particular service common to all the post CRUD operations required in your Swagger, right? If you have 20 post API calls in your Swagger, for all the 20 API calls, you are making this post service as a common functionality or common method. Got it, right? So, in order to do this post operation, you want the URL of your backend API, right? First part. Second part is the data that you have to add it to your database, correct? If you're doing registration, you want your first name, last name, email ID, password. If you're doing login, what you want to have, you want your login, I mean email ID and password. If you're adding a note, you want title and description, right? So this is the data that you want, that you have to be saved in your backend code, in the sense in your database. So that data will be stored in request data. You can give any name to that, okay? Even to the URL you can give any name, but I have given some meaningful name so that I can identify the things. Got it, right? And you want token, na? Because for registration you don't require token, right? Registration login you don't require token, but when you are creating a note, when you create a note, that is also a post operation only, right? Post API call. But that time you'd require token, right? Authorized. That API should be authorized. For authorization part, you require token, okay? So token, initially it will be false, right? Because I don't have token for registration and login, right? So initially it will be false. Next, HTTP options is there. I will tell you what is that HTTP options. Understood this part? Four parameters. So after taking four parameters, what you will do, this dot HTTP client, this HTTP client. So inside the HTTP client, you will take that post method. For that post method, you need to pass this four parameters now. First part is the URL. This base URL I will tell you from where I'm getting. Okay. First take it as only URL. URL is nothing but the thing which you are having in your Swagger. Na? Wait, I will show you the Swagger of Fundu only. Okay. So this is the Swagger of Fundu Notes. Bridge Labs Swagger. Okay. Can you see here when I execute this? I'll write something here. Execute it. This is how you execute data, right? In your Swagger. Can you see here request URL is there? This is the URL of your registration API, right? Backend. So first in the URL you will be having this part. Got it? This full is the URL. This URL. Okay. You can, as of now, you can forget this base URL. Just URL. Okay. Next request data. Request data is nothing but this data, na? Th- So this data. First name, last name, email ID, phone number, and all. So where is this data present in your project? Tell me in your project in which component this first name, last name, email, phone number, password, and all are there. Sorry? No, it is not in model. It is inside registration component TS file, na? See, this is registration component TS file, na? Here only you have this first name, last name, email, and password. You have validated and kept the data, right? So this data you have to pass to that particular API, correct? Register API. Understanding or not? If you're getting confused, let me know, okay? So next is the data. Third one is the token. Token as of now we don't have. When we have token, how we will pass it, I will show you, okay? And fourth parameter is HTTP options. I will tell you where this HTTP option is, okay? So understood what this post service is common to all the post CRUD operations which are there in your Swagger. Got it? Okay. Now this became the common post operation. Now we have post method for each and every API call, right? For registration, we are passing different data and we have different URL, right? For login, we have to pass different data with different URL, correct? So now we will make it specific or particularly to that particular API call. Okay. So you have some other file called user service, right? User service.ts file. So now go in user service.ts file. So now make it specific for your particular API call. Okay. So now what you have? So here create one method called register method. Okay. After creating register method, you want this post now registration is nothing but a post method, right? See here, this is my registration. It is a post method, right? So post method I have already written and kept it in my HTTP service. So I want to reuse it here, or I want to do dependency injection. It is already there. Instead of writing again, I will be doing dependency injection, correct? So for that, what you have to do, private, give that name HTTP anything, and create object of HTTP service. See here, HTTP service, HTTP service folder, HTTP service file. Got it? So after doing this, what you will do? You will do this dot HTTP service dot this one. First portion is what? For that particular API. I mean particular method. First part is the URL part, right? This is the first part. Now hover on this. See, first part is the URL part, right? So from where I have my URL, this is my URL, right? Take this complete thing and paste it there, okay? That base URL part, how to split this one. Here I have given half now. This splitting part I will teach you later on, okay? So this is my URL, first bit. Second bit is my data, right? Second thing. So data from where I will get from my registration TS file, right? Register component TS file. Correct. So now let me go in my register component TS file. In my register component TS file, I have to make use of that register method which is there in user service, right? This register method I have to make use now because I have data over there. So I have to pass data here so that I can send it here, right? So what should I do? I have to do dependency injection of that user service here. Got it? So after doing dependency injection, what I will do, I have a method called onSubmit method, right? So inside my onSubmit method, I will check if my register form data. This is my register form. Now inside this, I will be having all these 5 fields. If all these 5 fields are valid, then see, I'm checking using this if condition, and I'm checking that if all my register form values are valid, then execute this particular block. Correct? If you click on here, you will find it. Now, if block is from here to here. Otherwise, tell user that data you have entered is invalid. Got it? So afterwards, now you have to do API call if the data is valid only, right? So if the data is valid, you have to execute if block. Correct? So inside if block, what you have to do, you have to create this data. Create this data means this is an object, right? Inside curly braces, it is an object, right? Inside that object, you have key value pairs of first name, last name, email ID, phone number, and all, right? So now what you have to do, you have to create an object for this. So how you will create an object? Can you see this part? So let data is equal to open and close curly braces. This is an object. Inside this object, first name, last name, email, password, and service. These are the keys. These keys should match with what? Your Swagger keys, right? Then only data binding will happen between your backend and front end. Remember, here while doing data binding, you have to keep HTML names and these names common, right? Then only data binding happens, correct? Now you are binding your data from your front end code with your backend code names, right? So that time also you have to give the common names, right? Which are there in Swagger. Understood? Understanding? Okay. So now these are the keys. To these keys, you have to assign the values, right? Values are dynamic now. Whatever user is entering, that should be dynamically assigned to these keys, right? It is not hard coded data. So how you will assign? See here, this first name is there. Can you see this first name is capital small n? This first name is last n. Sorry, capital N. This is the matching of this data. Got it? These keys. So now to this I will assign the value. How I will assign the value? This dot register form. In the register form, assign the value of first name to this particular key. Understood? So for last name, assign value of last name. For email, assign value of email. Password, assign value of password. According to my Swagger, I don't want confirm password. Password is enough. Okay. The Bridge Labs Swagger requirement, there is something called service advance need to be mentioned. Okay. But in your Swagger, this parameter won't be there. It is not there, right? So no need to pass this service. This is Bridge Labs' backend requirement. So we need to pass this service. Got it right? So now the data what I have to send to my backend code now that is ready. Okay. Now I have to just send it. So how I will send this dot user. User is nothing but my user service, right? Dependency injection of user service. Inside user service, I have register method, right? So that register method is accepting a parameter. So that parameter is nothing but this data. I can rename it. I can give it as what can I give? Reg. Okay. I can give it as register. Okay. This is also fine. Pass that data here. Means pass that reg here. So after passing that reg, what happens? Now you have passed an argument and it is received here as a parameter, correct? Okay. After that parameter is received. Okay. So after receiving the parameter, what you will do that parameter you will pass it as a second argument to your post service method. Clear? Okay. Next token. It is like token. Now third field is token, right? This one is token. See token. So token is false. You don't have token now as of now. So token is false. And I told headers. What is this headers? Can you see here? Let header is equal to object headers colon new HTTP headers. HTTP headers is nothing but a class which provides useful information or metadata to your backend code. Got it? So here I have mentioned something called content type application JSON, right? From where I'm getting this content type application JSON? It is this means what? My content type, whatever content I'm sending, it is of type JSON format, right? Object key value pairs is a JSON, right? JSON object. So from where I'm getting this data? Can you see here? Content type application JSON header getting header content type application JSON. This is the data that I am telling here. I'm specifying to my Swagger that I'm sending the content in the JSON format. Got it right? And if like few people who have done their backend code in .NET, now they have something called application plus patch plus JSON. You saw na in their code yesterday and all while resolving. You might have observed it. Okay, maybe you have not. Leave it. No problem. So there only it will be defined. What is your application type? Got it right? This data you are sending, that is the fourth parameter. Here it is named as header, and in your HTTP service it is named as a HTTP options. Got it? Clear, right? Till here? So now request is ready, correct? Request to your backend code is done. Correct. But what about the response that your backend code is sending? That should be displayed to your user now, whoever is doing the API calls. So how you will do? So first, how the request is going from here, from this component register method, from register method to post service method, from post service method to this post, right? Correct. So after making the request, you will get the response here only, right? In this line. That response you need to send it back to your register method. Correct. Inside your register method only, no post service is called. So for that you have to put return statement. You know, right? What is the purpose of return statement? Return the object. So whatever this call, this statement will return, that you are returning to registration component. I mean registration method. So this data, whatever here in this line only, na, that object is there. Whatever post service is returning, that is there here. So that you are returning again back to your registration component, and here you will be subscribing to that response whatever you are getting. So for that you will put dot subscribe. This is just a parameter. Through this parameter you will be displaying the data. Got it? So now let me show you the API call. So let me go in that register one. Okay, I have not given register as a name, I have given sign up. So this is my registration page, right? So now let me do the API call and show you. See, if I put this one, it is validating, right? So now I will put something. What is the data I will put? Okay, let me enter some random thing. At the rate gmail.com. Password minimum length is 8. Okay, now observe. Okay, once I do click on next button, see register component line number 40. What is there? User registered successfully. Getting? So what? Where is that line number 40? See here. This is the API call part, right? So this value, this whatever is there inside this parameter, I'm just printing. Got it? So that is the response. This is the response that I'm getting from my backend server. Got it right? Any doubts in this part? Okay. Try with the API call. If you're facing any issues, we'll solve it. Okay. Okay. Wait. Huh? Show me your swagger.